Alright, so today we have inverse functions, day 2. So we're taking the composition of functions and their inverses, meaning taking like the sine inverse of the cosine of an angle measure or the cosine of the sine inverse of 1/2, something like that. So first of all, we're going to say two different types. One where trig functions on the outside, inverse is on the inside, exact value. Now, keep in mind for all these different types, the main agenda is, we're following an order of operations, and we need to be solving for the inside part first, and then doing the outside part second. So that's how all of these work. So whatever's on the inside is determining how we're going to go about solving this. So here we have an inverse on the inside. So then we go through and say, okay, we need to find the sine inverse of this. So we check to see if that's possible. That's root 2 over 5 is small enough to be in between -1 and 1. So then what we need to do is we need to figure out what that equals. And that's not an exact value. So that means basically we need to figure out a picture to represent it because we don't know an angle measure. So let's see, sine inverse of a positive value is going to give us an angle measure in quadrant 1. So we draw a little thing here. Here's our triangle. Sine is root 2. This is 5. So then we need to find that other side length. And the other side length, let's see, root 2 squared is 2. So you have 2 plus x equals 25. Minus the 2, x squared will come out to equal 23. So this is root 23. Okay. So now we have our picture. So then we want to find the secant of theta is next. Well, nice thing is we don't actually have to know what theta equals. All we have to do is be able to use this theta here and use our triangle. So the secant, that's our inverse of cosine. So it should be, or something, it's the reciprocal of cosine. So it should be 5 over root 23, which come out to be 5 root 23 over 23. That's it. So let's try another one. Alright, so once again, take a second, pause the video, write this down. Just remember that part has to be done first. So I need to figure that out. Let's see. So we set up our picture. It's still a positive, or sine inverse gives us a positive triangle or angle measure in quadrant 1. Let's see. So this is 1. That is 4. And that would be root 15. So then theta is here. So this leaves us with the cosine of theta. Cosine of theta would be root 15 over 4. That's it. Okay, let's try one of these here. So sine inverse negative root 3 over 2. So sine inverse yields, let's see, sine inverse of a negative answer yields us an angle measure here. That's where the negatives go. Now, negative root 3 over 2, we know that's root 3, 2, we know that's a 1. We know that, that's a pretty common triangle. That's going to end up being the cotangent of negative 60, which is still represented by this picture here. So then when we take the cotangent of that, you're going to have 1 over negative root 3, which equals negative root 3 over 3. Alright, here's the next type. So here, we have to solve the sine inverse of a cosine of 2 pi over 3. So in this case, you still have to solve this part first, because it's on the inside. That part gets done second. Two ways to do this. Hopefully you know the exact values, and you know what that equals. You could also find it off the unit circle. If you don't, you have to redraw it. So that means you would have to sit here and take the time to draw it out in quadrant 2. Know that 2 pi over 3 is the same as 120, so this is 60. which means that's root 3. That's 1, and that's 2, where this is negative. So then, once you have this set up, we know the cosine is negative 1 over 2. Okay? Then we have to figure out the sine inverse of that, okay? So the sine inverse of what we solve for here, which is negative 1/2. So now let's see, sine inverse, the negative value, yields us a solution in quadrant 4, like that. It's a negative 1 over 2, which means that's root 3. So the angle measure that goes there would be negative 30 degrees, which is equal to negative pi over 6. So this is the basic setup what you have to do. And like I said, with these types of things and compositions of functions, you go step by step. It's not easy to see this and just get an instant answer. Work out this part first, get your answer. Then work out the second part, and then get your final answer. If you just look at it and you don't get it right away and you quit, that doesn't accomplish anything. So gotta stay on top of it and just keep plugging away. Alright, let's look at this guy. Now, like I said before, sometimes these will cancel, but they only cancel if this angle measure here exists where tangent inverse exists. And the problem is, 5 pi over 4 is in quadrant 3. Tangent inverse exists in 1 and 4, so these don't directly cancel here. So instead, you have to first find the tangent of 5 pi over 4, which hopefully you know is 1. If not, you have to draw a triangle. So that means I have the tangent inverse of 1. So from working on that part, tangent inverse of a positive is in quadrant 1. It's 1, 1, root 2, which means that's 45 degrees. So my answer is 45 degrees, which is also pi over 4. Alright, give this guy a shot. Pause the video, so I'll put the answer up in a second, and then try working this out and let's see what you come up with. Alright, check your work, see how you did compared to me. Once again, if you have questions, come in the morning and get some help. So that concludes today's lesson. Hope it makes sense, and we'll see you guys later.